YouTube live stream as well. So people can always watch what we shared on YouTube. And this would also go live. I mean, the audio extracted from our today's discussion will also be uploaded on the podcast. So people can listen to us, people can watch us.
Okay. Okay. That's fine.
So we just try to use the maximum, available channels.
Mhm.
So then great. So Kumar,
Yeah.
would it be okay if we discuss about the some of the changes which you done at the Wellspun as well?
Why not?
In the trademark filing process we're discussing the other day, and you said that you made it completely transformative changes at Wellspun in in-house capacity.
Yes. 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 That would be
Would you
better.
be okay to share?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then. Perfect. Hmm. Excellent. Great. So that day you could not join. We discussed about different things, not just about the event, but people introduced themselves and they also mentioned an interesting fact about them,
Okay.
which very rarely people know about. For example, Garg is also a marathon runner. He loves to do half marathon. He's still not here,
Right. I am
but still
aware.
I can
I know
introduce
him.
that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So what's an interesting fact about you?
Interesting fact about me is that I am also more of a cardiac person, as you mentioned. So I
Uh-huh.
also mostly keep on changing my physical fitness exercises from whether it's running to sometimes jogging, sometimes tennis, sometimes cricket also. So I keep
Uh-huh.
on changing. I keep on changing so that I not get bored. Even gymming sometimes. So yes, it's more of that person. Yeah, and sometimes reading books. But these days it has gone down substantially. I love reading books, but from
Oh,
I would 4 years just because of work, it has gone down.
I have increased my reading these days. I mean, I am consciously making effort. I at least read 5 pages a day, if not the chapter. And one of the key thing which I have done, I mean, I've watched somebody's video online, I mean, on YouTube, and that guy said that if you want to pick reading again as a habit, start putting books on each and every desk of yours, each and every table, wherever you sit, and then you are waiting for something. Let's say
Right.
your dining table, your tea table, your office
Correct.
desk, of course, and if you have a lounger at the place, I mean, at home, and you are waiting for somebody to join you as well, that
Right.
time we often just go into the phones, right?
Right.
Without doing anything. So
Correct.
because phone is again nearer to us.
Right.
So he said that try putting books on each of those desks, and
Right.
you would spend time with the books rather than engaging yourself in the phone. So that
Correct.
allowed me to first time in my life, I mean, to start reading 2 books at a time.
Right. Right.
So I'm having one is Start With Why by Simon
Right.
Sinek, which is at my work desk, and then
Okay.
in my living room I've got a spiritual book,
Okay.
the journey home, which is about American person who turned monk when
Oh,
he
okay.
visited India.
Right.
Yeah. So his spiritual journey of wanting to meet the God started from US and ended in
Right.
the India.
Right.
So I'm reading these 2 books at a time right now whenever I find time at either of the places.
Correct. Correct.
All right. So we have Garg here as well. Hey, Garg. Oh, I forgot to rename you guys. Let me
I'm
just
not able to see
quickly.
Mr. Garg.
Yeah. Hello. Garg, you there?
Hi, Garg. How
Frank,
are you?
hi, hi.
Hello, Garg. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. So I
Now you guys are giving me FOMO.
um
I will
glitch.
also have to pull my jacket here.
Yeah, of
Oh,
course. You are the moderator.
I thought you guys would want to keep this casual, so I did not pull this up. But anyways, Just give me a moment and
It's
I'll be
okay. It's
back
okay. We are
in my
just
seat
pulling
as
your
well.
leg. We are just
Yeah.
pulling your leg to Priyank. It's okay.
But
Totally
anyways,
fine.
I find this much more comfortable.
Yes.
Anyways,
How are you, Kumar?
excellent
How
to
are
see you
you? How
both.
are you doing? And
I'm
how's
doing,
everything?
Miss Good Garg. How are you? Vaibhav is
All
also
that.
doing great.
Yeah. That's really nice to hear that. So I'm sorry, I was facing some glitch in the earlier link. I don't know why. So my apologies for just
Ah,
minutes late.
you must have joined using the attendee link first.
Might be, might be.
That might have created problem. Yeah, I mean, so with this event being online on LinkedIn, people must have got confused. But anyways,
All right.
uh, excellent. So we
I made it.
now, yes,
You're
and
on time.
that's important.
Yeah.
That's important. Just give me a moment, and I am back in my avatar. All right. So let me just start the session. All right, so guys, we would be recording this session because this is going to go on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, as well as on Spotify, Google Podcast, and Apple Podcast afterwards. So please allow us to record the session. Thank you so much again for being available at even though you guys got a busy hectic schedule, that too on a Monday afternoon. So thank you so much again, Kumar Anjani and Garg Vyas, to come to the first day of the big brand story. So Photon Legal, guys, is conducting a 4-day webinar series starting from today till 24th of June. We would be talking about different stories of how these brands made it a big brand, which we call it in the country. We've got people coming from 12 different huge corporate houses in the country. And today we have with us Kumar Anjani coming from Wellspun and Mr. Garg Vyas from Cummins, India. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the panel today.
Thank you so much, Frank. It was really our pleasure to be part of this knowledge reach webinar and conference series on a very first day. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for your opportunity, Priyank.
Excellent, Kumar. Thank you so much. So let me just set the agenda for the day. Okay. So for all our viewers, guys, this is not a pre-recorded session, or it's not even scripted. So Garg and Anjani, both of them do not even know what I'm going to ask, and even I do not have any questions prepared. So we're going to be having a candid discussion about different challenges corporate house have when it comes to brand enforcement, online and offline both, internationally, nationally both. So let's see what we have in the store, and let's explore in next 60 minutes together. Are you guys ready?
You are scaring us, Priyank.
Not at all, not at all. Excellent. So let me start by introducing you guys first. So we have Mr. Garg. Garg is an IP head at Cummins India. Is an expert with the demonstrated history of working in the domain of intellectual property, right? Garg has a very unique educational experience as well. He's an engineer and a lawyer too. Uh, he has a vision towards strategic planning, directing, and organizing corporate IP culture at the Cummins, and he also possesses expertise in smooth coordination of diverse teams and resources to accomplish the objective. Garg is known for result-driven approach, and he believes in continuously expanding knowledge and working hard to get the final deliverables. We are so glad to have you, Garg. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Priyank, for a wonderful introduction. Thanks.
Great. Next, we have Mr. Kumar Anjani. So Kumar Ranjani is AGM legal at Welspun Group. He's a registered patent as well as trademark agent, and has been working over several years with leading brands in the country to protect their intellectual properties. Anjani specifically specializes in international IP activities and has been assisting many clients to file and acquire patents as well as trademarks across the boundaries. His expertise are in strategic planning, filing, prosecution, as well as portfolio management. His novel approaches and initiative at Welspun Group has also earned him a Shining Star of 2018 award because of his contribution in reducing trademark filing cost and improving the process a lot what it was previously. Apart from that, Anjani has also been invited as a speaker at lot many other national international events from the IP community. We are really honored to have you, Anjani. Thank you so much for coming over.
Pleasure on mine, Priyank.
Excellent.
Thanks for a wonderful
Excellent, guys. So thank you so much. So as I said, everything is candid and so going to be the discussion. But the only part which was not candid and scripted was the introduction sheet. And that's why you could see me fumbling and going tensed over reading of all of those lines. Now I am done with that, and I don't have to actually read anything now. All right. So let's start the discussion about the big brand story. Let's start with you, Anjali. As I mentioned, you were awarded a Shining Star at Welspun for introducing new trademark process in the company. Would you like to share some information more about it? What are the typical challenges when it comes to an in-house professional for the trademark protection in the company?
Yeah, so, Priyank, thank you for having me here, first of all. And, I joined Welspun in the year 2016 November. And from there onwards, at that point of time, our budgeting for trademark was huge. I mean, we are investing a lot of, commercials with respect to the trademark filing and registration process. And most of the things we are doing through outsourcing to a lot of firms, whether in international filing or whether it's a domestic filing. But since I came into the picture, my major duty was to reduce cost as far as possible. And not only to reduce cost, there's also one more input is that to maintain the confidentiality about, your brand, your trade, which is there. So, what I started is kind of a more of an in-house filing. And not only in India, I also have done a lot of filing in the US, because at that point of time when I joined the organization, US filing from India was allowed. And we used to do a lot of filing, not only filing, even the prosecution of it, whether filing the response to office action, filing an extension, publication, allowance, everything was more or less in the US was in-house. And our country has a major market in the US and Europe. So 80% of our revenue comes from these two markets, US and Europe, for the filings. So when I started, I faced at that point of time major challenges to find out, first of all, to get a right suitable person who can help me out with that filing. That's the important thing, because
Absolutely.
in this there are a lot of there are a lot of quite it's not easy to find out a person. So that's the challenges I face. Then second, with respect to what kind of filing to opt for. So you have a lot of options. National route is one of the options. The regional route is the second option. The international route is the third option. So I will just give you a brief about all these options. So national route is when you want to file your trademark through a national filing route, like say when you would like to file a trademark application in Europe, or not in Europe, sorry, in the US, or let's say in Russia, through their through their route or through their USPTO national filing. So that is called the national route. The regional route is when you would like to opt for region specific filings, like EU IPO. They cater to entire Europe, which comprises of 27 countries. ARIPO, which comprises of all the African region. OAPI comprises another part of African regions. Then it's come your international trademark group, which is more of a Madrid application, which India is a signatory to, and approximately around 106 country right now is a member to Madrid filing, covering 122 countries. So this is how and making a strategy, when to opt for USPTO or a national filing, and when to go for a regional filing, or when to go for a international filing. That's very important. So what usually I follow the strategy is that when you have more than 5 to 6 countries to enter into, then I go for an international filing. Or if, let's say, I have Europe, let's say 5, 6 countries in European region, then I will go for a European Union entirely, and rather than going to the specific countries in the Europe. Okay, in the similar fashion, if I have only 2 or 3 countries to file with, I will go with the national filing. I don't want to invest my money into international filing, which is an expensive process. So this is how the strategy in the initial stages helped me, and there are a lot of trial and error also happened during the initial stage, I must say, and I learned a lot of during
no
that.
doubt, no doubt. Excellent, fantastic. So this is great. I mean, you started initially back in 2016 with the idea of saving the cost first, but then later on you realized, depending upon the volume of work and the application, which country to choose for, and then what will be the typical suited route for you when it comes to enforcement and providing greater protection at, again, less cost, or in a less expensive route, I must say. So that's great, Anjali. Thank you so much for sharing your ideas, your thoughts on the process of identifying the right people first, and then applying the right strategy as well. Thank you so much. My question is next to Garg. So Garg, Anjali spoke very highly about having a right strategy and a right approach. You are an IP head at Cummins India, again a global company with offices across the world. What challenges do you face when you are coming up with an IP strategy? Because I know for the fact that you love strategies, you love to plan things ahead, you love to make things ready and clear and concise for everybody in your team and the organization to look up to, saying that, see boss, this is what is my plan, this is how I'm going to spend my budget. So what are the challenges when it comes to defining an IP strategy for a global company like Cummins?
That's a very interesting question, Prank, first of all. And IP strategy altogether, different game of mind and a lot of things included. But since today we are talking about the big brand story, let me focus mainly on trademarks and brand related aspects. So when we talk about, developing a IP strategy for an organization like Cummins, when I say Cummins, it's a world leader in diesel engine manufacturing and for the heavy duty vehicles. And I think 2 years back, we celebrated our 100 years. Imagine an organization which is a 100-year-old legacy with the same brand name Cummins without any changes. So since 100 years, the company is following the brand, the standards, the guidelines, and then you have to develop the IP strategy for that old and that legacy like organization. So, when we are talking about, IP strategy for trademarks, a lot of things, of course, Anjani very well said about the, cost aspects and, how we can smooth the process, how to choose the right people. In addition to that, when we are talking about, brand compliance and, protection of a brand using trademarks and other things, there are other factors also which I would like to highlight here. So, some of the factors when you are selecting the brand, let's say it for product or let's say it's for service or anything, the messaging, the way that it conveys the message should be consistent. It should not deviate from your parent brand. The designing aspects, the fonts, the representation, the right color combination, each and every, these are very small aspects, but I am very much particular in all those aspects.
Right.
because that actually drives your overall branding strategy as well as branding related initiatives. So on designing, so forget about protection. Protection is a very last stage, but when you're at the initial stage, as a IP, of course, this is a this is something the role of a designer or a corporate communication team. But as an IP counsel, sometimes you have to ensure that all these things, the product brand or the service brand or any other sub brands within the organization or for the different geographies, when they are created, the elements of design, the elements of that particular messaging, what is being conveyed, everything is in line with the parent brands and the guidelines. Though if it is if there's some messages in the terms of voice or sound, it should be in particular alignment. All this matters a lot, because if you deviate in a single aspect, let's say so we have a Cummins color, which is a red color, very famous Cummins red, we call generally. Now, let's say I am using, and in India, we are using that particular Cummins red for with some other, mixture of, colors or something like that. But when you are using that Cummins red, and if you, do some mischief in, changing the, brightness or the, the effect of that color, that totally changes your brand value, and that affects a lot. And today, when you're in the age when we see that news, Ronaldo moving the two bottles of brand, beverages, and it affects the brand's, value down by around $4 billion within some span of time. Imagine the impact of brand, and imagine the impact of brand strategy or trademark strategy, how impactful it is. So I think those all aspects creates a lot importance. Now coming to the, once we have created that brand, I think search, many times, people, when we see search, people generally, give a lot of importance to the patent search or design search, especially patent technology searches. But when it comes to trademark, we generally take it light. That is one of the big mistakes people, end up doing it and later have to, pay the price for that. So I think proper search with the help of proper expertise, as Anjani said, it is very difficult to find a skillful people in that area. You'll find a person say, okay, I know how to file a trademark, but it is very much difficult to find a person or a firm who says confidently, yes, when we say we know how to do our job best way in terms of searching, ensuring your brand is not infringing any third party's brand before registration. So all these aspects are a very key important role in terms of, driving your entire brand strategy or IP strategy for the branding and trademarks, etc. When it comes to filing, again, a major important part is the geography. Other than that, the classes, trademark class, I think there are more than 45 classes are there. Imagine, you have to be expert in which class it will apply, because you end up registering in a wrong class, it's gone. The game is over. Game is over for you. So all these aspects are very, very critical. And you have to, when you're designing the strategy, IP strategy for this particular aspects of branding and other things, I think these are very small areas. When I say trademark search is a very small area, but it plays a very crucial, very important role. Selection of classification is a small area.
Right.
Some of the experts even, they by hearted, okay, 42 is a legal services, 45 is 45 is legal, 45 is a software related tools and etc. Related services and etc. But, including all the small factors in your IP strategy plays a crucial role. And that's how, with the proper IP strategy, only you can, drive the organization's growth in terms of proper branding and other areas.
Excellent, Greg. Excellent. Thank you so much for bringing that point home. Honestly, I am going to cut this recording short, and I'm going to show this to all my prospective clients who say, what's there in trademark. I mean, it's easy. It's a 10-minute job. I'm going to show this saying that, see here what Gerg is saying, even the color combination, the trademark search, the classification, in fact, deep knowledge of each and every category which your product falls into, or the services are falling into, is so critical, important, and not overlooking, of course, the geography, because if you have protection in one country and you are serving the clients from another country, then you are potentially letting your mark up for, I mean, infringement. I mean, people can just use it for free. You don't, I mean, you have no rights in that country. Excellent.
Yeah, just a small thing, Frank. We have a lot of cases, available, a lot of case studies available where big brands have lost their rights because they thought,
right,
I am a well-known brand, and that's why I don't need to register. So big brands have lost their right because they underestimated in selecting the geographies, or protecting the trademarks in the respective geographies. So it's a very important thing as well. Yes.
Correct. So I mean, honestly, the kind of work people have been doing in trademark industry, that sort of needs to also change, because people, as you mentioned correctly, pay a lot more attention and dedicate too much of energy in doing patent search, because that involves technology, and they say that, okay, technology is going to be there for the next 20 years, so let me do a thorough search. But they often overlook the fact that your trademark is going to be perpetually removed for, I mean, next hundreds of years, like as Cummins is in the business for last 100 years and more, and of course it's going to be continuing to serve the next 100 year as well. So trademarks are important, and I mean, that's why we are here for, to talk about the big brand story, how this trademarks enforcement and the importance given to each and every mark being filed in each and every country made the companies like Wellspun and Cummins huge corporate houses of the country. My next question is to Kumar. Kumar, Garg mentioned about doing mischief with the company representation. If you guys come up with, I mean, Wellspun is again very much engrossed in the home textile business, and everybody in the country knows about Wellspun as well. It's again public limited company. How often do you deal with counterfeit activities where your product gets counterfeit in the market, your brand name gets copied, somebody is trying to call Wellspun as VELSPUAN or something that way? So what are your challenges on the front of infringement, and how do you take an action?
Yeah, so thank you, Priyank, for asking me this question. This is very interesting, basically. I would like to share this along with a case study which we recently have gone through. So
Fantastic.
it's an interesting case wherein our brand has been basically a URL has been copied or taken by some other brand and has been misused or counterfeited. So it's basically a Nigerian company. What they did is, counterfeiter has become very innovative. So they find out a creative way to register their domain name. So what they did, they have registered our domain name as VVELSPUN. So when you will write 2V together, it will become W. It will W. Okay, you can write in Word and you can see that 2V together looks W. Okay, so they have registered VVELSPUN, VVELSPUN.com, and they started reaching to our clients, customers, saying that they are the Wellspun, and they don't generally told the customer that they are offering the same line of goods which we are, but they are saying that they represented that they are the real Wellspun. Okay, so we came to know this through our customer, and when our customer approached us, and when our business, when this come to knowledge, when I saw it, even I could not even identify, what's wrong with the domain name. I mean, this is our domain name. It's a WELSPU and Wellspun. So it took me 10 minutes to find out what's the problem with the domain name at the first place. Then I found out, and then what the legal recourse, which is we file an UDRP, Uniform Domain Name Dispute Resolution, is the right forum where you have to lodge a complaint, for any of the domain dispute. and they will judge if you have a trademark registration. And of course, it goes with the second level domain name. And since we have a registration over Wellspun in a lot of countries, we have showed them that, how malafidely they have approached to our customer, qualified extension, all this thing, and they find, and the other party, of course, they have not, contradicted, and they have not joined the proceedings. So there were the ex parte judgment in our favor, and the UDRP asked us to transfer the domain name to us. Although this domain name is no use of us, of course, but yes, so such creative infringement these days are happening. And, it says that, according to Secretary General of ICC, around 10% top line of the revenue of most of the multinational company are lost because of the counterfeiting. So counterfeiting is something, it's very, very serious in nature in these days. Okay, and that too, when you are going to the market through online tool, where the infringement is, very likely to happen and very easy to do away with. So, these days you need to keep a tab, and, you always use your customer or your client as your eyes and ears. So, you make sure that, your customer should keep informing you about what is happening in the particular space, because maybe you are not directly going to the market like Wellspun. We go in the market, we have the biggest manufacturer. Okay. Maybe our brand is not going to a customer like Walmart, Costco. They are the leading, chain of supplying goods. So maybe our brands are not going, but our reputation are there in the stake in the market. So you need to keep them aware about our brand, and of course, a brand watch. Whenever there is a identity or similarity of mark is registered by someone, you need to get that kind of a notification through maybe an online service provider or through any of the firm who do watch, trademark watch services. We also have one of the very legendary brand, I would say, Christie. It's a 1850 brand, and our company is 1984, 85. However, this brand is way older than this, since we have acquired this brand. And this is a brand who manufacture a Wimbledon towel, the famous Wimbledon towels, right? Yeah. So they manufacture it. They are the first one to, in fact, develop a terry towel. So terry towel has come. So this Christie brand, again, this has been, tried to be taken by a lot of counterfeiter and alleged infringer. We have stopped them. We have filed, proceeding, and you have to keep on changing your strategy, whether it goes to see and delete notice, whether it's come to, filing a civil action, a criminal action, copyright, also invoking a copyright provision as well. So it's depend upon each, your way of approaching things. So this is how.
Great. I mean, this is a great story and can be used as a case study when it comes to cyber squatting, because in this online world, a lot of people are doing this. I mean, some of the people are also doing creatively, as you mentioned, is they see what trademarks are getting filed, and if it's in the company's name or some entity has filed the trademark, they book the domains in .net, .in, or some other extensions, and then approach the trademark owner saying that, do you want to buy this domain name?
Yes.
And people think that it has become a new norm of making money, but to all our viewers, guys, this is also accounted as a cyber squat, which is a fraud, and you would be held liable for doing these activities. So please keep your eyes and ears open, as Anjani said, and if you encounter any brands getting infringed like that, please let the brand owners know about this possible infringement. It can save everybody. You might not even know. I mean, it can be a website which is just set up to extort money, to do cyber attack from that. So the best thing is to, of course, get it verified from the brand owners. Do not engage in any sort of conversation with such websites, because people have started to do this cyber squat lately at a great stage, because everybody's online and every brand is also online, right? So thank you so much, Kumar, from touching one of the a key topic of the discussion today. And I'm sure you are keeping all of your brands under watch,
Yep.
and all of your customers are your ears and eyes as well. Great. My next question is to Garg. So Garg, Kumar said that because the customers informed him, he could take an action, right? And again, Wellspun Group being Wellspun Group, they are very sensitive about the brand and its visibility in the market. But oftentimes, when we deal with companies and individuals or small entities or startups, they see that was IP is the game of corporates, or it is managed and enforced by the corporates. When it comes to individual, it is costly, expensive, and we might not even see the end result which we want to. Even though we own the brand, we might not be able to enforce it the way it should have been, like a corporate. So what, I mean, as a part of the corporate council group, I want to ask you this question. What advice would you give to the people or startup community or SMEs who really want to protect their brands and also want to enforce it, but I mean, they just think that it is a roadblock because corporates can do it better? What are your 2 cents on this?
Yeah, it's support or help to the startups or a new organization, small scale organization. It's a topic very close to my heart, because I belong to a very large entity like Cummins. I always admire or love to support the startups which are coming up in the market with the different innovative ideas, and they also seek advice in terms of their IP protection. So for startups, I think they are full of energy, they are full of innovative ideas, they are full of excitement. Some of the constraints sometimes we see is the budget, because they are startup as compared to the large organization. Some of the constraint we see with the startups or the individual is the enough knowledge or enough in-house talents. These aspects of brand protection, enforcement, IP, intellectual property rights, patents, trademarks, etc. Because they have very limitation of budget, they have very limitation of staff, etc. So generally, already government of India, if you're talking about, has taken a lot of effort and launched so many initiatives in terms of Atal Innovation Mission for innovation related things, IP, intellectual property protection related initiatives, some support on them, terms of some those aspects and all. So I request startups just to Google it, because it's very handy. They will get some other information. Second important thing is, when it comes to protection and enforcement, if you are not protected, you will not be able to enforce it. So for my advice, since Prank, you specifically asked about brand protection and enforcement, my first advice, try to first figure out what all you want to protect, where all you want to protect. Then approaching the right entity. As a startup, you may not afford well-known firms or law firms, etc. You may go to the medium or small scale firms like you, who are equally good and may support you in terms of proper search, proper protection of your trademarks, etc. Comparatively limited budget. I'm not saying very different scale, comparatively limited. So there are available firms in India. There are very good firms in India, and you can search. If you have in-house capability, well and good, you can utilize those capabilities in-house for search and registration of trademark in India. Coming to enforcement, of course, that's a wrong mindset sometimes startups has gained, that since we are a startup, it will be very difficult for us to enforce our brand in terms of counterfeit, anti-counterfeiting actions or infringement actions, because we are not a large corporates. How we will be able to do that? But no, in India only, if you search, you will find a lot of presiding cases and case judgments, which has given a lot of good favorable justice to the startups in terms of brand enforcement activity. So yes, you have to take that effort, and you have to, I encourage them for taking that effort in terms of right brand enforcement. Again, for that, if you have in-house capability, well and good. Otherwise, you can approach any good law firm, and there are available firms in India with the proper credentials available on Google and all. Or you can, reach out to your peers for advice and etc. But do not ever think that since you are a startup, you're a small scale company, you are an individual person who is doing business or partnership, small partnership firm, you will not get justice. You'll not be able to sustain in India. No, that is a wrong perception. That's a wrong mindset, and you have to come out of it. So please, when you are creating some brand, my first advice, please protect it with the right set of people, advise it and all. Second, once you are protected, please enforce it. You will get a right justice out of it. And once your enforcement activity will be successful, it will be a kind of a game changer for your own brand. So please take those advantage.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Garg. So as Garg said, guys, all you have to do is approach the right people to take the first action, which is filing and protecting your brand. And then, of course, if somebody infringes it, do not stay back and move out. I mean, come out and try to file a case against it, because we have so many presiding cases which will help you out. And there are so many people as well who can help you out with whatever budget constraints, even if you have. But one of the key thing is to ensuring that you protect your brands, because unless and until you protect it, you will not make a brand out of the name or the company. So protection is must, and its importance cannot be, ignored. Excellent, Garg. Thank you so much for bringing that point in. With that enforcement thing, I have a follow-up question to you. So Cummins, as a big brand, you guys have been, of course, facing a lot of infringement activities as well when it comes to your brand positioning online, offline. Were you guys in a position, or do you guys believe in enforcing PMLA Act, which is prevention of money laundering?
Prank, I think
Hello.
yeah, Prank, we lost you in the last question.
I think we lost you. Hello.
I think he might be facing some poor connectivity. But Anjali very well said about, brand enforcement and anti-counterfeiting. I really liked your point on those aspects.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Looks like I'm back. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
I had some network issue. I don't know what happened. But anyways,
last
that's
question.
Excellent, Garg. So I was talking about, yeah.
I thought last question hit you, so you may consider on a lighter note. Yeah.
All right. So I was asking, excellent. So I was asking about enforcing this PMLA Act in India. Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Have you guys did that in the past, or what is the company philosophy look like when it comes to enforcing the brand in the country?
With reference to money laundering and other, kind of phishing activities like
criminal,
that?
Criminal acts, invoking criminal acts when it comes to trademark infringement.
Yeah. So I think, I won't say specifically about how Cummins do it, because, there are different ways. But I think in general, enforcement and taking action. So, there are two main aspects. So in general processes, when you come across some counterfeits or infringement, you do some basic investigation, you confirm that yes, this is something which is, kind of infringing or counterfeit activity is being done at some so and so place. Another is taking action. So now there are three ways, one is of course the civil way, which is sometimes time taking, but also result in some is the criminal way, which you specifically asked. So as a general practice and anti-counterfeiting activity, filing a criminal case against this particular counterfeits is also prevail very well in the industry. Generally people select this particular activity because compared to the suit, sometimes it is less time consuming in the court proceedings. When you talk about criminal suit, there is a preset mind, एक खौफ है दिमाग में कि हाँ यार criminal action हुआ है. So that prevails in the market, and that prevails to the people who have done this counterfeits. So those aspects of course make a lot of sense. And when you do the criminal suit, the police also sometimes support the organizations in terms of conducting a raid. Imagine if you are a counterfeit and at your premises police raid has been conducted. Imagine the fear in your mind when such thing happens. So of course that is a big way impactful. So I think on those aspects, selection of a criminal suit in terms of as a anti-counterfeiting action, makes much sense, I would say. As it has its own benefits in a way. However, you have to be mindful on different legal aspects of criminal as well as civil laws when it is, which way it is legally right in going forward. Because if your, counterfeit action is not much relevant in a criminal way and still you file a criminal suit, I think that will not benefit much. So I think those aspects, you have to, consult your in-house counsel properly, or if you require, you can take support of the external law firms as well in deciding which is the right way of action plan for, taking the suit against this or taking the anti-counterfeiting action against the counterfeits. So I think that is my way of opinion on this particular aspect.
Excellent. So you touched about being mindful basically in what recourse you want, either is it a criminal or a civil one. Of course, guys, just for your information, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act allows the trademark owners to seal the bank accounts of the counterfeit person,
yes.
People who are infringing you. It's one of the most powerful anti-counterfeit tool which has been given for the brand owners. So if your products are getting infringed in the market, you can use this. You can sue the other person, other party, and the other party can even go to the jail for maximum 3 years, and there is a huge monetary penalty as well. So trademarks and copyrights, both these laws have PMLA's invocation. From time to time, brands do enforce that. But again, as Garg said, you got to be mindful about which way you want to choose it and why you want to choose it. That's even more important.
Plus the legalities,
time,
very important.
energy,
Plus
money,
legalities.
Right.
Yes, of course. And the complexity as well involved in each matter. So there is no blanket advice given or be applicable for all of you will have to choose depending upon the situation and the circumstances. Thank you so much, Garg, again on that.
I would like to add one thing over here.
Yeah, sure. That's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah. So basically, one more thing, brand like us, which are more of an export brand. Okay. One more kind of a solution to counterfeiting is a custom registration. So this is something, helping us a lot. So let's say if you have a trademark protection in the country where you are exporting your brand and you want to stop someone with respect to, the counterfeiting products over there in the custom itself, so that, someone from some other country cannot export the brand through the customs over there. So you can get your brand registered at the custom also. But for that, the foremost thing required is that you should have, first of all, a trademark registration. Then only custom office will entertain you for the registration. And of course, even Indian custom these days have been very, very aware and knowledgeable in that front. And of course, you need to go to them and explain them, and sometimes make them aware of your brand, how your brand looks like and other things, so that someone is importing the brand to India, something of that sort, it should identify and at least trigger you that this is the brand which has come to our knowledge, and if you feel that it is counterfeiting, then you can take a legal recourse, of course. So this is also these days a lot of brands are taking help of that, like brand like Nike, Coca-Cola. These are the brands are majorly dependent upon this, because a lot of things exporting and importing are happening in that front.
Excellent, great, nice. With that export thing and the basically having goodwill of one country, I mean goodwill associated to brand in one country, reaching out to the goodwill associated to the other countries, I have some key points on different case laws or different topics which has happened in the country so far. I mean, we have this Burger King versus Burger King, the famous example. Everybody is aware that in India there are so many restaurants being operated right from 1960s under the name as Burger King restaurants or Burger King food chain. In Pune, there is a famous Burger King joint in the camp area. But the American company, the American fast food chain Burger King, got this goodwill so huge that the courts of India have recognized, saying that the Burger King is a well-known mark, and anybody who hears Burger King associates themselves with the American brand, and now forced our local restaurant owners and food joints owner to change the name. So, Anjani,
yes,
like yours, what are the challenges? I mean, you have a product or the company in one country, the brand is present in one country, and again, the products or the services are given in other countries. So how do you deal with this transferring of goodwill or enjoying the benefits of goodwill in other countries when your product is, let's say, from India, just for an example, and you have you had a case in Nigeria? How do you explain this goodwill to the person sitting in Nigeria that, okay, this is a huge group and we deserve a trademark, or we deserve the protection, we deserve the enforcement? What are the challenges in enforcing such things cross-border?
Yes, that's a very valid question you have asked, and the legal aspect on this trademark concept itself differs from country to country. As Greg also tell that trademark protection is in territorial in nature, right? And it's different from territory to territory what kind of priority rights they give. So some countries give priority rights to first to file, and some country gives priority right to first to use in a trademark. Like India, taking the concept from Britain, UK. So these two countries, when in the US, they follows first to use country. The person who have used the first will enjoy the rights over a trademark. Even though your trademark is not registered, of course, through passing of action, you can enjoy the right. However, country where first to file concept is there, like in Russia. The concept is first to file. The person who has filed the first mark, he will enjoy the protection over there. So, in fact, one of our prominent name was registered by someone in the Russia, and at that point of time, we do not felt that that brand will do such a good which we have never thought of, and therefore we have not registered in Russia, and Russia not being our that much important market. But later on, when that come to our notice, it was like a big challenge to revoke that ban. And of course, finally we come to a settlement conclusion or something of that sort. But yes, since your brand is going out of your country to alien country, you should be aware of the fact that what kind of challenges you may face when your brand will be going to that particular country. So it's very important that prima facie you have to anticipate in your mind that in what all countries your brand can go, and you have to do it in in a broader sense and not in a narrower sense. Of course, being a multinational company like us, and like company, so we need to see the things in a broader manner. That if let's say something happened where, although in that particular country our market is not that great, but it could happen in a coming manner. So these things are very important, and that's why your strategies formation, where to file, and that's why mid-read filing is something very important. That gives you a route which allow you, even though your mark is filed, and let's say during the filing you have off only for 10 countries, you can extend your registration, just filing an extension of that particular registration through Madrid application or WIPO Madrid application, which is. So you need to keep in mind, what kind of strategy you need to follow. Priyank.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again to coming on the same topic which we started with, filing with the right strategy, having the right strategy in mind when it comes to protecting your brand and enforcing it across the globe. I can honestly tell you that Anjani has Madrid filing as the dearest topic to his heart. And honestly, yes, it has its benefits, huge benefits when it comes to enforcement and enjoying the goodwill across the member states is something which cannot be, undermined. So yeah, thank you so much again, Kumar, for bringing that point home. Now we are into the last segment, guys. We have already touched upon cyber squatting, infringement analysis, the education part of it, the awareness when it comes to enforcing a brand or even protecting a brand from the individual's perspective, startup perspective, from the perspective of the large corporates. Now, in this last segment, we'll ask Kumar or Garg, if you guys have questions for each other, you guys can shoot that questions across, or if you have a question for me, I'll be more than happy to answer that as well. And I'm going to basically take a back seat and not going to ask any question. So the forum is open for Anjani and Garg to ask the question or share anything else if they want to share in this closing time.
So Prank, just moment of cautious for you, if you allow us this much open way.
No worries, no worries.
It will be an endless conversation.
Right.
I know two friends talking about the same topics which are dearer to them. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. So yeah. I'm just taking a back seat and I want to enjoy this conversation.
Yeah. So just be mindful that what you are allowing.
I subscribe to this. To this.
But Anjani, you mentioned a very good point on goodwill, on the, how goodwill can be accepted. But I just want to, take your view on one point. I have seen some of the cases where, your goodwill in one country may not give you a better protection in other country if you are not protected your brand in terms of trademark. I'm talking about when you have a big brand, maybe or may not be protected in some country, but for example, let's say, just I'm giving a hypothetical example, your company XYZ, which is a well-known brand,
right?
Let's say, into let's say the smartphone market, which is a well-known in US, and that's a very goodwill. It has gained goodwill across the world. But now, when you're coming to India, and you are planning to launch some product, a smartphone or something like that, with a product name ABC, and you think, hey, I'm a well-known mark across the globe. My main brand, which is XYZ, is already registered in India. I should not register, let's say, this ABC, and let me launch, or let me at least initiate the conversation, marketing campaign, etc. And some other small scale firm, or some genuine firm in different business segments similar, is protecting your ABC in the same class, and you end up in the court saying that, hey, I have a goodwill and all. The courts, so what is your view? Just because you have gained goodwill, is it that you should not register your mark in that respective geography, or you should? What is your views on that?
So first of all, Garg, thank you for this question. And of course, the the most or the best practice would be that to file the trademark protection. That because it's a bottom line that that the trademark protection is territorial in nature, and it doesn't allow or protects your brand in other countries. Of course, sometimes your reputation may pass on to the different countries. That all well said and done. But having said that, in this matter, trademark search always plays a great role. So if you, let's say, if you'd like to file your prominent name, like our corporate name itself. So for the corporate name, first of all, if it is a very, very well-known brand like us, Wellspun itself, so you should make sure that at least your corporate name should be filed in all the jurisdictions. Because you never know, Wellspun, someone may not use in road sector, may not be using in a textile domain or in a pipes domain where we are working, or in a sporting domain, may be used by some pharmaceutical domain or something of that sort, which are not at all related with us. And at that point of time, stopping them because they have already gained a goodwill reputation on that front, it will be difficult to us. So a trademark search, whenever you do a worldwide trademark search, so that you will get to know that whether someone else have filed or at least registered a same or similar brand or not. And during that course, you will also find to know if, let's say, someone has already done, you can take right course of action at that point of time itself, and you can stop them for further or a continuous infringement, which you see in our legal term. So, of course, searches in this way will help you, and of course, filing a protection to different route, as I mentioned, 2-3 routes. So that goes important. And of course, the countries where first to file concept is there, because in that countries, protecting your brand through usage is something you cannot able to or not possible to do that. So you have to identify and build a strategy depending upon that itself, that this country in particular does not recognize the concept of first to use, and therefore if I will not file a trademark protection in that country, then even at the later stage when I would like to file or protect our mark, I could not able to do that.
Yes.
So these things are required.
Yes, that's very true. Thanks, Anjali, for bringing this. And I mean, with that, I just want to, convey the message to audience. Just that, if you're a big brand owner and, if you're, having business cross countries or cross borders, be mindful of at least protecting your mark, registering your mark in those countries in the relevant classes, as Anjali said, so that, you don't, since today you have not registered, tomorrow you should not,
Right.
fall into that trap. So be mindful of that.
Now it's my turn, sir.
Yes, over to you, Anjani. Be ready, girl.
Yes. So, my question to you is with this difficult times, COVID scenario, how your company is building a strategy with respect to brand, with respect to overall intellectual property. If you give the perspective, I just want to understand, because these are difficulty and times, and we don't know how to do. There are a lot of management pressures also with respect to cost cutting, with respect to different things. So, how your company or how your company being a multinational build a strategy on that front, please.
So in general, I would say, this is a COVID time where a lot of cost cutting is there. However, companies with a big brand name, with a lot of long history, I think for them it is very essential, to, in order to protect those brands. So I think, although it's a crucial time, there is a cost cutting, but very important, very crucial matters of brand protection, very important, very crucial matters of counterfeiting things are always on priority and entertained, because I think that those things, actually impact your brand value. So those we can't get rid of. Simultaneously, some of the priorities may be established. So some of the items, or, which are not actually impacting your brands, you can pause them for a while,
right,
till the right time comes, and then you can apply. But I think those priorities need to be set strategically, and be mindful of that those strategies should not backfire on your brand. So I think those are the things, we generally people keep in mind while designing the brand strategy in this crucial time. I hope I have answered your question, Anjali.
Yes, Mr. Garg. In fact, our company and your companies are aligned in their thinking during this difficult times. And of course, just to add, to identify which brand is important and when to
Yes.
abandon, and which brand is not that giving you work or
Yeah.
something of that sort, and where to end up. So this is something, this
Yeah.
great topic that this is the right time to go and
priorities.
Basically,
We
setting
all
setting
have
up
to
the
set
right
the
priorities, identifying the right brands, and then the performance as well in the market. Which
Right.
one is performing better? Which one is critical when it comes to enforcement? And then also, which is your top performing brand in the market, and how close are the competitors, right? Unless
Right.
and until we know who are the competitors and how they are performing in the space,
Right.
companies would not be in a position to shed some money to protect that, right? Because when I'm sure you guys gonna be, you would be having a lot of challenges when you propose new budget to the board saying that we want this much of dollars to protect our brands online or offline, and your account stream or the management would be becoming very choosy that time, saying that why do you need so much budget? Is that really so expensive activity, right?
right.
That's right.
Great conversation, guys. Thank you so much for coming over. In this session, we discussed about different things coming from brand challenges, which big brand like Wellspun and the Cummins face, or challenges in medium scale people as well. And then we also talked about education and setting a right strategy, which is one of the key topic of discussion overall. So on this point, on this occasion, Photon Legal would also like to extend 40-minute consultation with the partners like me or Amit Kaushal. So guys, if you're listening to us, you can use the big brand story as a coupon code. You can drop an email saying that you want to have a 40-minute discussion and strategize your trademarks or brand positioning in the market, and we'll be happy to advise you on that with our expert team. So everybody who's listening to us, please note down the big brand story is the coupon code, and we can help you out in protecting your brands across the globe. Thanks again, Garg and Kumar. Our discussion today is going to be live, available on YouTube for people to view. We would also make small snippets of our discussion and distribute that across internet, so that people can just consume those bytes and learn more about the strategy being followed by both of you, and learn from you, learn from your knowledge. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for being the giver. You guys have given so much. I mean, in just 1 hour, we discussed everything, right from in starting of formulating a brand strategy to enforcing it, and also suing people in the court and taking out damages. We also touched a recent case story of Wellspun. So this is great. Thank you so much for being such a giver. Came over and helped us out in reaching out to audiences. I'm so you guys.
Thank you so much, Prag, and Photon Legal for extending the invitation. Thanks.
Thank you, Priyank. Thanks, and thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
All right, great. Catch you up later, guys. Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure evening.